the Kimber CDS9. This is going to be an official unboxing video. So every 100,000 years or so, I actually believe the earth is only 6,000 years old because I'm a Bible purist and that's what the Bible says. So 6,000 years, not 100,000 years, but every 100,000 years or so, when the sun I'm forgetting the lyrics to that Jack Black song. It's every 100,000 years or so when the sun don't shine and the moon don't glow and the grass don't grow. We get an awesome product every 100,000 years or so, 6,000. So the Kimber CDS9, this is kind of an unboxing video. I've already unboxed it, but I'm gonna give everybody that unboxing experience by taking everything out of the box today. So imagine, if you will, that there's a seal on here. This is my little unboxing knife, and I just cut through the imaginary seal. All right, so the seal has been cut. Gonna open the box, and this is what you get in the box. Pretty nice presentation, I would say. First off, nice looking box, man. Pretty cool looking box. Not bad at all. Big box. Nice quality big bag, if you will. And just for comparison's sake, right? I also have my old Kimber Micro 9 box. These are guns that are somewhat similar size, but as you can see, the box for the CDS9 is much bigger, much smaller here. Part of that has to do with the fact that the case that came with the Kimber Micro 9 is a much smaller case compared to this beefy big boy right here. So much smaller case. I will put this to the side, and now that you've seen the box, I will now show you everything that comes in. Now the gun, obviously, that's like the grand finale, so I'll show you everything else that comes with it. You got a manual that came with it originally, Kimber manual. Let's see what else we got here. Little pack of things. Now in here, in this pack, you'll see this little plate right there. That's the plate that sits on top of the gun. It covers up the optic mounting holes there. And as you can see, there are some extra inserts for the sights, for the front sight. Green, yellow, red, yellow, and another red one there. And there's even a black one right there. I'm not sure why anybody would want to use the black one. I'm sure there are some practical applications for it, but I would always resort to either that red, orange, or yellow front sight. So that's what you have there. And is there like a sticker in here or something? Let's see. No, I don't think so. But yeah, that's pretty much what comes there. And then there was a flag for the gun, a chamber flag that was in there as well. Then you got your gun lock that you get with most guns, kind of standard stuff there. And that's pretty much everything that came with it originally. So let me put that stuff back in, and then open up the main compartment. I got a few items that are in here. This is a battery charger for the Viridian green laser that I have on there. I'll show you that in a second. It's already attached. But there's one pocket here, then there's a main compartment here, then another pocket, which is where I have the gun at. And then you unzip this pocket up here, and there's room for magazines, right? Now this gun, it actually comes with 2 magazines, one 15-round magazine. It's a funny thing. As small as this gun is, the fact that you can get 15 rounds in the gun, I think that's incredible. And it's really the reason why I switched over from the Micro 9 over to the CDS9, because I went from 8 rounds plus 1, and that's with the extended magazine, 8 plus 1, to 15 plus 1 with this extended magazine. And that extension works. It gives you, you know, ring finger and pinky finger grip on the bottom there. So you get one 15-round magazine, and then you get one 13-round magazine. Now there's also a 10-round magazine that you can buy separately, and it fits flush on the gun itself. Not sure why most people will want that, or anybody will want that. I'm sure people do, but it's not for me. So I brought 2 extra 15-round magazines to go with the gun. So, and here's the gun itself. As you can see, the gun is pretty dope. So I got the Kimber CDS9 TFS version, which is threaded for suppression. As you can see, his little thread protector that's on there. That's a threaded barrel, so that's pretty cool. But this is a really cool gun, I have to say. You know, for comparison's sake, right? So this is the gun itself here, as you can see. Now I also have my old, and I should say these guns are all unloaded, checked and everything. And then this one is unloaded as well. Kimber Micro 9. Now to this point, this has been my everyday carry gun, and I'll tell you in a second why I've changed. And this isn't a full review, because I do plan on doing a full review, and in that full review that will include range footage as well, footage of me shooting it at the gun range. But size comparison wise, got the Micro 9 there, and then the CDS9 side by side, right here, right here. As you can see, they're very similar in size. This one is obviously a little bit bigger. You know, the barrel, especially with the thread protector, extends out a little bit more, and clearly you have more grip. And that's another thing. See, even with the Kimber Micro 9, I really liked it. A single stack. Like I said, the only thing I really didn't like about it was the capacity. So being single stack, I still got pinky room there with that extended magazine. I can put a pinky on there, so get a full grip, you know, full grip. I like that. And this one I have the laser on there as well, you know, the laser grip, which I like. But no rail on there. However, there is a rail here, which is why I have this right here, which also has a laser. Also has the light on there if I want the light on there, you know. So it's pretty cool. But then also an optic mount up top, a slide cut for an optic mount, which is really awesome. So this one, as you can see, there is no slide cut for an optic mount. It's a pretty cool gun too, by the way. It's a really cool gun. But there's a lot to like about this gun. I think this is just a much better concealed carry option, because it's still a small gun. You can still fit it into like a small bag. You can carry it concealed. If you need to, you can carry it in jogging pants, the same way I used to carry this Micro 9 in small pants or gym shorts. That's absolutely doable with small guns like this. This may be pushing it a little bit in some gym shorts, because you know the weight can get a little bit heavier, and I'll pull out the scale and weigh both of these guns as well in a second. But this is for size comparison. Now I'll also show you the comparison between this and a full-size 1911. And why is it the full-size 1911 I'm showing a comparison for? Well, one thing you may or may not notice is that all of these guns are, this is loaded, so, but all of these guns are 1911 kind of form factors. I like 1911 form factors with the external safety. I do like the grip safeties, which these don't have. I can live without them, but I do prefer, and which is why some of the future gun reviews that I do on this channel are going to be 2011s that have grip safeties, that have the whole package. Ideally, I would like a 2011 that's around this size or maybe a little bit bigger, something like the Bull Armory ultralight, something along that vein, but still has the grip safety. That's just what I like. Now, if I'm being honest, nowadays, you don't really need a grip safety per se. It's not necessary because most of these guns are drop safe. They have safeties built into the triggers, as well as internal safeties also. So it's not as big of a deal for most pistols nowadays. Some of these rifles are, that's another whole nother topic there. So, but as far as these pistols go, most of them, many of them, I will say, are very safe, even without the external safety. However, I like the 1911. Another big reason why I got into 1911 style and platform type guns is because when I first started shooting, I had a tendency to jerk on the trigger. The light trigger pull of 1911s kind of mitigated that trigger pull, and it immediately improved my shot. And so from that point on, I kind of fell in love with 1911s. So, and I'll give you an example of what I'm referring to here. So we got the Micro 9, the Kimber CDS9, and then just a Tisas 1911. It's kind of a full-size 1911 here. And I will do a trigger gauge test on all three of these to kind of give you a little bit of insight into what the trigger pull weight is on most of these guns. All right, so let's look at this is for the Micro 9. We'll clear this bad boy out. Ready? 2 pounds, 8.4 ounces. 2 pounds, 8.4 ounces. All right, do one more. £2, 10.2 ounces. So that's an average of 2 pounds, 9.3 ounces on the trigger pull. So, and I did put a custom trigger in here. The factory trigger is heavier. So this custom trigger that I put in here is lighter. So I like those light triggers, man. I like them to be around 3 to 3.5 pounds. If it's a little lower than that, hey, I'm not complaining. I love it. So that's what this one is. Now let's look at the big boy. Okay, let's see. Clear that out. Ready? 2 pound, 8.6 ounces. Man, I thought this trigger was a little bit heavier than that. Okay. Maybe it's gotten a little lighter over time. Do it again. Okay, that's more like it. 3 pound, 5.9 ounces. So maybe that first one probably was just not a good pull. So 3 pound, 5.9 ounces. That sounds more accurate for this gun. And let's do ready again. 3 pound, 5.9 ounces. So that's about what this trigger pull is. That's more accurate. And then, last but not least, the Kimber CDS9. Now they said this trigger was around 4 poundish, somewhere in that range. But in shooting it, I've actually been to the range, even though I haven't gotten any recorded footage yet, which I will do soon for the full review. But when in my practice and shooting it live, the trigger feels great. I have to, you know, I gotta be honest, the trigger really does feel good. So give you guys a quick glimpse into what that is, that pull weight is. Let's see, clear that, ready. £2, 3.9 ounces. Let's see, not sure that's quite accurate. Let's go again for that one, because I think it's still a little bit heavier than that. This first one really is a little under 3 pounds, but this one, I know this one is a little heavier. So let's do this again. Let's see. 2 pound, 14.9 ounces. That seems a little more accurate. Let's do it one more time. Okay, 3.58, but I was a little bit high on the trigger. I want to try and be right in the center, so I'm gonna try one more time. It's right in the center. 2 pound, 9.8 ounces. That's about right. Let me go right back to the center again. 3 pound, 5.3. I think I was a little bit high again. Let me do one more time. That one was right in the center. 2 pound, 14.4 ounces. So right under 3 pounds, maybe a little bit over 3 pounds. I'll do it one more time just for good measure. You're like, God, this dude is testing the trigger 1,000 times. That one I know was high. 3 pound, 8.9 ounces. Let me do it one more time. 2 pound, 14.7 ounces. This one, it's seeming very inconsistent, but I have to say, in practice and actually shooting it, I really enjoyed shooting it, you know? Not to mention the green optic that I have on here, this Hollow Sun. It's an awesome optic. So this was actually my first green dot on a pistol. But as I said, I really like this gun, guys. I'll have more video coming soon, which will include footage of it being shot at the range, and that'll give you a little more insight into how functional and how this gun operates. One thing I can tell you ahead of time is I was having a lot of issues when I was shooting 115 grain 9mm rounds in this gun. It works best with 124 grain. I don't know if that's applicable to all Kimber pistols. This pistol, I never really noticed that issue, but the thing with this pistol is it had an 11-pound recoil spring. I replaced it with a 22-pound recoil spring to kind of mitigate, because you know smaller pistols can be a little snappy when they shoot sometimes, and so I heard that heavier spring, 22 pounds, will kind of take away some of that recoil, and it worked for sure. But that might be also why I never really noticed a lot of issues with the 115 grain when I was shooting previously, because of that heavier spring that I had in here. So that issue where they need 124 grain may be applicable to a lot of the Kimber pistols, or maybe just the smaller pistols. I'm not sure I'm not sure for certain, but I know for a fact this one has issues when you use that 115 grain. 124 grain is the way to go. And so full review is coming soon. But otherwise, thank you guys for tuning into this AP3 Max video. I'm AP3 Max, your boy, and we'll be back soon. Tune in.